Simplifiers, how are you doing? Today is Sunday, February 1st. It is still brutally cold here, brutally cold for Tennessee. Actually, I went out, I think it was 17 degrees, and I don't think the wind is as bad today because I was not that cold when I was out there, but I'm sure they're still saying there's a wind chill, but it's supposed to get up to, at some point I think it's supposed to be up to 34, but it's not quite there yet. I think it'll be above freezing, short-lived, very short-lived, but the sun is out. So I just want to do a surgery update. I did get a call. I think I told you that the scheduler I felt incredibly rude. And one of the things was, and I thought she said she was talking very fast. She's from up north. It's bizarre because she's the doctor's sister. He's very Southern, and she sounds like she's lived up north her entire life. It's very strange. I don't see how they're even related, and he's not rude, and she's very rude. So anyway, I thought she said they will call you and get payment. Well, it was her. She called and got payment, but she was really rude about it. If you don't pay, it's like, and I thought she said in the afternoon, which I thought was weird. Like, why would you wait till Friday afternoon to get payment? Because, a lot of people work and they don't have their phones with them, and some people aren't allowed to have their phones at work. It was kind of like, okay, why would you wait till the day of, especially because I thought she said afternoon. Well, she called me at 8:30 in the morning, and I had the phone with me. I'd been with the phone for 2 days because I actually thought the surgery center was calling Thursday. Well, they called Friday as well. But anyway, I don't know why I thought Thursday. I think because she reeled off everything so fast, and I was trying to take notes, and I was just, scribbling, and so I couldn't even really read what my notes said, and she just talked way too fast, and she didn't take a breath, so you couldn't say, could you slow down? And even if you did, she probably would have been rude. So anyway, she called. She was quite jovial. Apparently when you're collecting money, you're in a better mood, because she was quite jovial. She was nothing, not even kidding, nothing like the other day when I talked to her. So anyway, got that paid for early in the morning, so I didn't have to worry about that, because I had told Spencer, I said, I would have rather just pay, if I'd known it was her, if she was going to take the payment, I could have given her the payment that day. I didn't care. I just wanted to, I don't like having stuff like that hanging over my head. I don't like last minute stuff. I don't like the fact that it's 2 weeks before you find out what your surgery time is. So at 12:30, they called me from the surgery center, and thank goodness. We have to be there at 7:45. When she said that, I was like, oh, praise the Lord, I'm going to be early. That's plenty early. And we still have ice here on the road, so that's actually good timing. So he thinks it'll take about an hour. Hopefully that's enough time. I don't want to be sitting there extra time waiting. So hopefully an hour is enough. But I think most of our route will be ice-free. I think the tail end might have more ice than the front end. So we'll see. They're still trying to clear our road. It's bizarre. It is so much ice, and it's so thick, and the snow plows just go over it. So they've been sending graders out, which this is kind of bad because ours is, where we are, it's clear. And so they're still coming by with the grader even though it's clear, and we have brand new paving. So I told Spencer, I said, we've waited, I feel like 30 years or 20 something for this road to get paved. We finally got it paved, and now they're having to send a grader down it to get the ice up, even though here there is no ice. But it sounds like the grader is scraping the road anyway. So it's like, why can't you lift? I don't know how the grader works. Could you lift it up and only put it down when there's ice? Because it's clear. Right here it's very clear. I walked across the street myself, no problems. My friend is across the highway, walked across it days ago. It was fine. So anyway, it's just, one more thing to be thinking like, oh my gosh, are they messing up our brand new roads? Because we waited forever to get this road paved, and we've been bumping around on this road for, it's been very bumpy for 10 years before they finally paved it. Now they paved it. Now all this has happened. So anyway, there is still some ice, but it's not. Spencer can drive in the ice, so it's fine. I do not, but he does. So anyway, so then I said, she didn't tell me what time that it was actually scheduled. She just said be there at 7:45. So then I said, well, so I know it's usually around 2 hours. So what time is the actual surgery scheduled for? So she said, oh, it's 9:15. I was like, even better. That's only an hour and a half. Usually, so in the past, now I have not had surgery since I had this with him the last time, and that was in 2012. So that was my last surgery that I've had, thank goodness. But now, of course, I'm older, so we're gonna have to see how it goes. But the fact that it was not 2 hours, because usually they would, well, it takes us 2. It's like, what are we waiting on? Really, all they have to do is start your IV. That doesn't take 2 hours. Like you got to change into the gown, start the IV. I can't you'll talk to the doctor. This is the way it's been in the past. I want to talk to the doctor. So hopefully I get to talk to the doctor. I want to talk to, usually you talk to the anesthesiologist. So I want to talk to them. And then you'll talk to, of course, you'll do prep with the nurse, but none of that takes 2 hours. So I'm so glad that she said it was an hour and a half. So we'll see. And it may not start on time, but mine, he said it would only be 30 to 45 minutes. Now the interesting thing was, now she reeled this off real fast. And I was like, wait a second. What does all this mean? And she goes, well, I'm not an ENT nurse. So she was very nice. And so I really wanted to stop her and say, could you just talk slower so I can write it down? I'll just look it up myself. But he is going to work on both sides. All he mentioned to me was polyps, but he is going to clean out, at the very least, he's going to clean out both sides. And she said it looked like he would be opening it. She thinks he's going to be opening it up as well. Now, the last time we had the surgery and he opened it up, he put these, I think they're called stents. I may be wrong about this, but he put these plastic things in here. And so I had to wait 3 days to have those. I had it on Friday, and then on Monday I went in to have them taken out. By Monday, that was starting, because it was coming up, I'm sure it was coming apart, and it was probably smaller and it was making it larger. By Monday, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait till this appointment, because that was starting to, it wasn't horrible, but it was like, So I don't think he's doing that again, because he said this was not as extensive. So I don't think he's putting that in. So I don't know how he would make it larger without putting that in. So that's a little confusing to me. And she said something about windows, which he didn't call it windows the last time. So I've heard people say windows. What I do know is he's not packing it, because he told me, I'm not packing it. That's where the pain, if you get packed sinuses, that's where the pain comes in. You never want to have a sinus surgery with somebody who's packing your sinuses. Very painful, everything I've ever heard. And I feel like it's archaic, because in 2012, I wasn't packed. So if he wasn't packing then, there's certainly no reason to pack now. And he's very good. He's a very good surgeon. He's done thousands and thousands of surgeries. So not worried about him at all. But I am wondering what I'm having done. So that's one of the questions I want to ask is, of course, I want to find out when I can work, and then also, basically, when can I lift more than 5 pounds? Because there's a bleeding risk. So when can I lift a few pounds and do some cardio? That would include my work, and because if I ask him about when can I clean a house, he'll be like, oh, the next day, just go clean a house. Because men they don't know what that means. I have a 5,000 square foot house I have to clean. I'm not going to be getting up the next day and doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I need to know. That's what I'm going to ask him. When can I do cardio? When can I lift over 5 pounds? Because that'll answer all the questions about work. My dad thinks that my dad was like, well, you're not seriously going to be laying around after this. And I was like, I said, yes, I am. It's a bleeding risk. When you have surgery, it's a bleeding risk. I will definitely be sitting, laying. I think I'm going to have to have my head up, which will be a pain. It's at night. I can't sleep like that at night, but I think my head will have to be propped up. But probably the last time I didn't sleep. It was at least a week. So I'm hoping, since he said not too much downtime, I'm hoping I don't have to do the head propping as much this time, because that about sent me over the edge, not being able to sleep. I finally just had to lay down. I just was like, I can't take it anymore. And I didn't have any bleeding issues at all, and I didn't want to have any. I mean, did not. I know somebody who had a sinus surgery after had mine. She was throwing up blood for days. I didn't have anything. I wasn't sick. I didn't throw up. There was no blood going down my throat. I was like, throwing up blood? What? So she had a different surgeon. So I don't know. And everybody's different. But I was like, I'm not wanting to be throwing up blood for days. She was so sick. I was like, that's strange. It's very strange. Anyway, I'm not planning on having that. He's already given me nausea medicine ahead, which he didn't. Maybe he did do that last time. I think he did, actually. I think he did do it last time. So he's already given me that ahead. I've already picked it up. I'm on 40 milligrams of prednisone a day, which has cured my back pain. My back has stopped hurting. Of course, they'll all start back as soon as I get off, because it's only a week. Oh, it's about, I think it's a week at 40 milligrams, and then you wean off, and then you're done. So maybe a week and a half, my back will feel really great. I'm enjoying it while it lasts. I am able to sleep. One night I did not sleep well at all, but last night I slept pretty well. So I've been on it for 3 nights, or days, and then trying to sleep. So the first night I slept fine. Second night, I think 2 hours, and then I took it earlier in the day. Yesterday I slept fine last night. So I think by 11:15 I was asleep last night. So that's normal. That's pretty normal sleeping time. Anyway, that's about it. The main thing is just to tell you it's going to be at 7. I had to be there at 7:45. Supposed to start at 9:15. I'm hoping that means we're out of there before noon, because I would think recovery what would that be, an hour? I don't think, hour and a half maybe. So he's saying 30 to 45 minutes, being there another hour, something like that. I would think by noon we would be leaving, if not noon 1. The bad thing is, unless we were going to go into town today, which I don't really want to do, I'm doing all my laundry. I've got to get, Mila is on the bed. She loves to sleep on our bed. I've got to get her off so I did the blankets, but I need to do the sheets. I want to get all the laundry done. So I'm washing towels right now. I don't want to have to I don't want anything holding over my head. And so we're going to go to the grocery store. What I was going to say was, we could go to the grocery store today. We're going to have to pick up the pain medicine. I don't have that yet. So, and I really didn't need it the last time. And he says this is less extensive, so I may not need it at all. But we're 30 minutes from the stupid pharmacy. So I don't want to be waiting around. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, we're going to have to, I don't know, do you still have to drop it off? I can't remember if they can call it in, that you used to have to take it. And then at some point they were able to call it in. I don't know. There's so many rules, and they change every 6 months. But so I don't know if we have to take it or if it will actually get called in. But we're going to probably have to wait around on it. So I have a grocery list, which we may or may not be able to get what we need at Walmart, but I'm sure we'll be able to get some things at Walmart. And then I need to go to Aldi as well, or I would like to go to Aldi as well. So I'm hoping if I, maybe not feel like walking around, especially not at Walmart, but I can send Spencer in for whatever there. But then an Aldi is smaller, so I feel like I could probably, and Walmart's where the pharmacy is too. That's where we go. But it's 30 minutes from here. So I need to go in Aldi too. So, I mean, we could go today. We didn't have church, so we haven't even left the house. I haven't left the house until yesterday. We went to check on Dad. That was the first day I'd been out. I'm going to tell y'all something. This is the most relaxed I've been in over a year. Because I've been home for a week doing nothing. I haven't been worrying about work. I worried about my dad a little, but then once he kept power, I didn't really concern myself about him that much. I just checked in with him every day, sometimes twice. I check in every day anyway, but a couple times we checked in more than once. But haven't really worried about him. He sounded like he was doing fine and everything was going okay. He did have a TV he couldn't get to shut off, which was... Spencer finally, he unplugged it from the wall and he's like, oh, your batteries are in wrong on your... He had been changing the batteries on his clicker because nothing was working, and he just didn't get the batteries in right. So I was like, all of that, we thought it was a serious TV issue because the TV wouldn't go off. It had nothing to do with that. It was the remote. But anyway, other than that, he was doing fine. And so I really haven't, I haven't just been super concerned about him like I normally would be. Didn't have to worry about work. Didn't have to go to church 2 weeks, I'd like to go to church, but no church 2 weeks in a row. No mail. Everyone here's complaining about the mail and the roads. Get a grip. The mail is not running. The mail comes to us from Memphis. There's sheets of ice everywhere. The mail's not running, okay? Just suck it up. Your package will get there when it gets there. I mean, I saw a woman, she was like, well, it's not about, I'm not trying to make it about me, but I ordered this package. Listen, sweetie, I ordered packages. They're not here. And I got text messages saying they aren't coming. I mean, one thing got canceled. I'm not even sure what that was about. Maybe because I don't know if they had not sent it yet. I thought it was already on the way, so it was confusing. But like one item was canceled. I was like, okay, I don't know why it was canceled, but I'm just not going to worry. I don't even need it at this point. This was something that I thought I might need for pre-surgery because I can't take my supplements or a lot of my medications. Not some of my medications, not all of them. I'm taking most of my medications. That's the other thing. I'm not supposed, they've all said this to me, no, do not take your medications before you come. have never been told that. And now I know there's this risk of aspirating. Never been told. Usually they say take your medications with a small sip of water, or they'll tell you which medications you can take. Well, I have acid reflux, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do in the morning. I'm going to have a small sip of water with my acid reflux pill, because I'll be laying down for how long? Yeah, no, I'm not going there without my acid reflux pill. So every time they say that, I'm like, okay. I'm going to drink my tiny sip of water, which is not going to make me aspirate. I have always taken my medicine before surgery. Has something changed? Also, I find this very archaic because my vet is very different. He's more of a holistic type vet. I think any other vet is like no food or water after midnight. Mine is no food after midnight, water all the way up till you leave, as long as you have a pretty long drive. So like I used to have almost an hour drive, so I never had to pick the water. It was great. I never had to pick the water up. And I didn't know what time their surgery was scheduled for. He also didn't know what time it was scheduled for, but that's what he told everybody. Pick the water up an hour before your appointment. And then, so now I'm 30 minutes from there. So pick the water up 30 minutes, before I leave. That's an hour before I'm dropping them off. Not an hour before the appointment, an hour before drop off, because you're dropping off early in the morning. Okay, if pets can have water all night long, you're not monitoring them. They've got their water. They could have drank a lot. They could have drank a lot overnight. My cats drink a lot of water. I can't have a small, tiny sip of water with one pill. I mean, does that not just seem way overboard? I understand you don't take 15 pills, but it's just going to be one pill. I don't know. I've never had trouble before, so I figure if they ask me when I get there, have you taken your medicine? I'm going to say, yes, I took one acid reflux pill, because I'm not going to be sick the whole time I'm sitting here. I'm just not. Why start off nauseated and sick? You know what I'm saying? She did say, she asked me about problems with nausea, and I said, no, I don't have any. And then I said, oh wait, I do. I said, I throw up with anesthesia. I have no problems with anesthesia. I said, I have no problems with anesthesia. And then I said, oh wait, I will throw up with anesthesia. I said, I do need something for nausea. She said, so this is not archaic. She said, oh, we give everybody something. I was like, when did this start? Because I didn't even know I would be out of it. I didn't even know I was throwing up. I threw up after a surgery. I did not know. And Spencer told me that. Because I had forgot, they give you this medicine that makes you forget everything. You don't remember what's going on. So I had forgotten about that. So I've never remembered that I threw up after surgery. So this was in 2001, I had a surgery, and that happened. And Spencer was right there, and I was like, I don't remember anything like that. There's so many things about that surgery I don't remember, really anything. But anyway, so at least they're doing that, but I still need the reflux medicine. I mean, I take it as soon as I get up in the morning. So, if I don't feel sick when I get up, I might not have to take it, but I just feel like it makes more sense to just go ahead with a really small sip of water and take it, because I've always taken it before surgery. So I really don't understand. And I also don't understand this, because they can do that. They have a different type of anesthesia they use for colonoscopy, and those take 30 to 45 minutes. It's kind of like, and they'll let you drink prior to the colonoscopy. In fact, you have to do another clean out before you leave your house. So they're letting you drink plenty before the colonoscopy. It's kind of like, why can't you just give me whatever that is? It's a different type of anesthesia. I'm only going to be there 30, 45 minutes. Why can't you just give me that? Why would it need to be different? I really don't. I mean, this is polyps. If they do the colonoscopy and you have polyps, they cut them out while you're under that anesthesia, that same anesthesia that you just drank a bunch of fluids for. I mean, there's a cutoff. I think it's like 2 hours before they tell you to stop drinking, but you can drink a whole bunch 2 hours before. I can't have a sip of water. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. So I'm just going to take the medicine, tiny sip of water. It's not going to take me a gallon of water to get it down, and just not worry about what they're doing because I know I've always taken it, so I can't see why it would. Like I said, I know there's a threat of aspiration. I don't think one tiny sip of water. I wanted to say, can I brush my teeth? Because you tend to get a little water in your mouth when you know what I mean. You're you're swallowing a little water when you're brushing your teeth, when you're rinsing your mouth out and stuff. It's like, well, am I allowed to brush my teeth, or should I just come stinky, or like, I don't know. It's just overboard and archaic, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Y'all let me know what you think. Do you think it's archaic not to be able to have one sip of water? That was the main reason. I can handle not eating for a while, but the not drinking, I get so thirsty. I wake up thirsty. I wear two mouth guards. I have a really good mouth guard on the top, and then I have a retainer on the bottom, so it feels like you have two mouth guards, because basically you do two mouth guards in. And I'm so thirsty when I get up. It's just like hour. I was thinking, man, what if this got scheduled at 3 in the afternoon? I can't drink that whole time. I mean, I will just be an insane person. And you can't have candy, you can't have gum. And see, I've done that. They didn't used to say no hard candy, no gum. So I mean, I was thirsty, so I was chewing gum, and my sister's like, "You're not supposed to do that. You could aspirate." It's like, aspirate on my own saliva? Is that a thing? We all have saliva in our mouth. I don't know, y'all. I don't think that's why people are aspirating. I think they're probably drinking more than they were told. Like getting up and drinking some water, probably because they're thirsty. I don't know. I could be totally off. Could be totally off base. I don't know. Now, I also when I took Boo in to have surgery, and of course they said, "Has he had anything to eat or drink?" And I said, "He's outdoors. I don't have a clue what he's doing, and he runs all over town." I was getting him neutered and getting that tail cut off. And I said, "I have no idea." I said, "I did not feed him, but I have no idea what he's in the wild. I don't know." Well, he came through that fine. Who knows what he'd been eating and drinking? He could have had a bird. For all I know, he killed a squirrel and ate it. I don't know. It's just, he didn't aspirate. I don't know. It's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy how, I just feel like animals are treated better than people. Like, no, you can't have a sip of water in your medicine. Even if it makes me a lot more comfortable and I'm not in a bad mood when I get here, I can't have one sip of water in my medicine. It just seems odd. Anyway, I'm just glad I got through all the stressful parts. I'm glad I've had a week of just decompressing, because I needed, y'all know, I've needed a week of decompression very badly. I'm feeling much more calm. Even being on prednisone, you think I'd just be like, I'm not. I'm still very calm. I had a nice visit with my dad yesterday. He seemed really, really good. Then, of course, he called and started complaining about things, and I was like, "Oh, you seemed like you were doing so good when I was there." And he said, "Well, I mean, I'm okay." And I was like, "Oh." But I just, I can't worry. I can't micromanage it. I can't worry about it. I can't be sick all the time worrying about every little thing. He's just got to handle it. And I don't know what else to say. I just can't worry about it all the time and be sick, making myself sick. I just can't keep doing it. So I've got to calm down, and this has been very relaxing. I'm about to start book 5. I've read 4 of those cute little books I've been reading. I just finished the 4th one. I'm going to start maybe the 5th one. I've got to vacuum. I need to vacuum the whole house again. I just did it but a few days ago, but cat hair. I need to vacuum the whole house again before tomorrow. And of course I told Spencer, it's like, well, I can't eat in the morning. I can't take any medicine. I can only pretty much get up, wash my face. You can't have makeup on. Get up, wash my face, brush my teeth, put some clothes on. How long is it? Maybe scoop the boxes. How long is that the cat boxes? How long is that gonna take? Not long. So anyway, I'm gonna vacuum today and maybe wipe down the bathrooms one more time, and then I'll be done. Wash the sheets and put them back on. I'll have to move Mila, but I'll be done with everything. I made some, did I already say, I think I said, I made some chili ahead. It's not that much. I'll have to cook something else. I got to think about that. What can we get at the store that won't be difficult, or that I could find? I mean, the stores are hit and miss right now, because the Walmart trucks aren't even getting through. You really have to go to Kroger, and I don't want to go to Kroger and Walmart to get the medicine and Aldi, so I'm just going to get whatever Walmart has, and if they don't have something I need, they just don't have it, and if Aldi doesn't have it, they just don't have it. I'll just do without for a few days, but I know I'm not going to feel like going to 3 stores after a surgery. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing really well. I do have a part 2 of the kitchen declutter, because I did the other side as well, so I have that all put up. And then other than that, I'm not sure when I'll see you again. But thanks so much for being here. I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.